Hi, this is Dr. Noel Lloyd for Five Star Management, and this is the Successful Chiro podcast. At Five Star, one of the things that we do is help busy, successful doctors bring associates in correctly in our win-win system so that you can help more people have more fun, make more money. And I have got an absolutely wonderful guest today. Roberto Monaco, a man that I have heard of for a long, long time and finally had a chance to meet and has consented to be my guest. Roberto, how are you?
I'm doing amazing, Dr. Noel. How are you doing, friend? You good?
Well, I'm fine. Say, I want to read your bio here to let the people know. In fact, I'm sure that virtually everybody in the chiropractic profession knows who you are. But in case there's one person out there who
Okay,
doesn't know,
perfect.
I want to read this.
Perfect.
Roberto Monaco is a full-time speaker, coach, and trainer who has delivered over 5,000 presentations across 7 countries since 2002. And for the past 12 years, he has specialized as the premier speaking and influence coach for top chiropractors and chiropractic advocates. Roberto has spoken at hundreds of chiropractic events and received the prestigious Chiropractic Advocate Award from Sherman College in 2022. As founder of Influenceology and the Chiro Speaking Company, he empowers doctors to communicate powerfully in patient classes, corporate lectures, videos. So important for the doctors to know how to speak in videos. And through signature programs called Influencing from the Front and the Cairo Speaking Club. You were born in Porto Alegre. Did I say that right?
I love your pronunciation, Dr. Noel. That's great.
Porto Alegre,
Yep.
Brazil.
Yep.
And Roberto conducts workshops in both English and Portuguese. He
Yes.
lives in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, with his beautiful wife and gorgeous children. So, anyway, let's start here. How did you get mixed up with chiropractors? Because you're not a chiropractor, but
No,
how
I'm
did you
not
get mixed up
chiropractor.
with us?
And that's funny. Like a lot of chiropractic events, they put Roberto Monaco, DC, and I actually have to email them just to make sure you know I'm not DC. So I got involved many, many years ago. One of my clients his name was Gary Gunderson. He's a financial guru, money guru. And he said, you gotta work with chiropractors. And Dr. Noel, I had no idea what chiropractic was. Had no idea, zero. And then eventually, 6 months later, a chiropractor out of Texas, Dr. Chris Zeno, calls me up and he told me, I'm doing these dinner with the doctor. I'm closing around 50%. And Gary referred you to me. Can you help me? And I'm thinking, yeah, just like I help a financial planner, a loan officer, yeah, no problem. Send me a talk. So I helped him, and conversions went from 50 to 90%. He couldn't believe it, right? In the process, I met my wife, and we knew right away we want to have a family. And my wife said, I want to stop taking birth control pills. I said, no problem. And a month passed by, 2 months passed by, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months passed by, no period. And then she started going to the MDs. I want to make the story very short. So after four MDs, four doctors, no answer. Many, many nights I go to bed, hug my wife, and I could feel her tears in my eyes because she thought there was something wrong with her. And remember one day, a Criseno came to train with me in San Diego. I was living in San Diego, and I told that story. I feel really embarrassed to share this in public. He goes, bro, my message is for you and your wife too. Gotta see a chiropractor. So the next day, I went to see Dr. Ryan Hum in San Diego, and I never forget Dr. Noel walking in, doing the x-rays, and he showed the x-rays. My wife had a big subluxation, lower back and the neck, and start care. 1 year into care, 2 years into care, 3 years into care, almost 4 years into care, no period. And things really got bad because at that point, I thought we're never gonna have kids. So 9 Christmas ago, December 24th in the morning, I'm in San Francisco, me, my mom, her mom. 8 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, I'm hanging out, drinking coffee, my wife is sleeping. And then she wakes up, goes to the bathroom, never forget, comes back, walking towards me, bawling, just like bawling. I have goosebumps, just think about that. And she's like, I got my period. And I'm like, are you
Oh,
sure?
wow.
And I'm like, "Are we sure?" And we start like dancing, like in a soccer when the players start, jumping around, they score a goal. So we were doing that in the kitchen, 9 in the morning, me, my wife, my mom, her mom. And then fast forward 9 months to get pregnant. By now, my best friends are chiropractors, and they refer us to watch a movie, The Business of Being Born. It's about natural birth. And my wife, she's super brave. She goes, "I want to have a natural birth." So we found a natural birth center in San Diego. And that was the most amazing experience. 22 hours of labor. Finally, Sophia was born at 10:16 p.m., August 2nd. And when she was born, she barely could breathe. She was like,
Oh,
bad situation. And then the two midwife nurses trying to do anything, try to do interventions, nothing helped. They attach a monitor on her to measure her oxygen levels. And they said, if she doesn't get better in 12 hours, by law, the baby gotta go to the hospital. She was born at 10:16 p.m. I never forget this moment. I pick up my cell phone at 5 a.m. and I text my chiro. I say, "Hey, Dr. Ryan, is there any way you can come here?" And I send the text. He texted me back and said, "I was waiting for the call." So he came in, put Sophia down, and he goes, "Yeah, her atlas is off, subluxated. I just her once. She's 8 hours old." And we're just watching. 3 minutes later, check her again. "Yeah, adjust her again." And then check her again. She was clear, just like a movie. Get Sophia, give to my wife, and Sophia threw up the amniotic fluid that was stuck in
yes.
her lungs, and she gave the most beautiful, powerful baby cry. I looked at my
Wow.
chiropractor. He had tears come down. He said, "Did you see the power of the innate?"
Wow.
At that morning, next day at 10 a.m., we didn't go to the hospital, went home. So I always, every time I'm in front of a chiropractor, like I am right now here with you and the audience, I want to thank you for teaching something that literally changed the course of my life, my wife's, my kids' life. Now, let me tell you why I work with chiropractors. A week later, I took a picture and of this most beautiful picture of Sophia. And I just closed my eyes. I'm looking at this baby. I'm looking at the picture. And I remember a movie in my mind, meeting my wife, all those years of struggling, going to chiropractor, and then finally have this healthy baby. And I had this realization. In our birth center, they recommend us to have a natural birth class, right? So basically it was 8 weeks every Wednesday night to go in for 3 hours. So there's 10 couples, 20 people. On the first day, the teacher asked this question, "Why are you here?" 20 people said exactly the same thing. Now they used different words. They
Yeah.
said, "We are here because we want something natural."
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you why I'm here today, Dr. Lloyd. Because of the 20 people, only one dad, one mom were being adjusted, and one baby was adjusted birth, which is my family.
Yeah.
So we usually ask chiropractors, "Why do you think that is?" And they usually say, "Well, because people don't know about it." The second question that I follow up with is, "What are you going to do about it?" So my goal being here today with you, Dr. Lloyd, today, this podcast, is just to inspire the doctors to go to the next level. There's always a next level. You as a coach, there's always a next level. To inspire them to go and share chiropractic, to record the next video, to do the next talk, to schedule the next talk, to do the next event, right? Because I am on the other side. I know what it looks like, feels like, not knowing. And most people don't know. So,
So the most effective, the most passionate, the most inspiring and inspired chiropractors I know are those that have their own personal story. And so
mhm,
when I asked you about how you got mixed up with chiropractic, and then you were with Dr. Gunderson and Dr. Zeno, and then everything became super personal.
yeah,
Any father on the planet would say the most precious people on the planet are his kids. And you have chiropractic, and you and your wife both, to thank for your children. And so
Thanks.
you are a true believer. So now you serve the chiropractic profession. Now I built my practice before it was legal to
Mhm.
advertise. You couldn't do Facebook, you couldn't even do phone book. You couldn't do mailers, you couldn't do anything. And so I taught a class and I had some training in speaking and
Yeah.
theater and things like that. And I find that one of the big challenges that chiropractors have is that public speaking isn't necessarily something that they're good at.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, what do you do for chiropractors who want to get the word out, but they
Mhm.
don't feel prepared or adequate for the job?
Mhm. Great question. Because I always tell this to my audience. Number one, I am biased. Okay, so maybe you can take 10% off because speaking has changed my life. I am a speaking coach, so obviously I'm biased. But if you stop and think about every leader in any industry, right? You name any industry. I work with 50 industries. They are doing talks, they are leading people, they're on TV, they're on radio, they're on video, right? So the higher you go, the more important speaking becomes. And I always tell my clients, it's not about public speaking, it's about public leading. Public speaking
Yeah.
is a tool of leadership. Now, if I'm a chiropractor and I want to lead my community well, if you want to lead my community to be healthy, then you have to lead yourself, gotta lead your team, gotta lead your patients, gotta lead your community, right? So what I do specifically, I broke down my system into areas. Not every single chiropractor struggle with the same problems. The first area is the whole mindset, is the fear of being judged, afraid to speak. That's a big part of it. The other part, I'm talking about organization of the presentation because sometimes they don't have fear and they do a talk and they don't convert people, they don't get signups, they get frustrated, give up. So being able to organize a message from opening, the pre-frame, the body, pre-close and close that makes sense ethically, right? That helps them achieve an outcome. That's the second part. The third part is storytelling. We all know facts tell, stories sell. So a lot of chiropractors, you said, in my view, and I coach thousands of chiros, in my view, around 30% of the industry of chiropractors have that crazy story. The chiropractic changed my life. 70% don't have. And the 70% that goes, I don't have a chiropractic story, which is the biggest lie ever because everybody has a story. So being able
Yes.
to find that story, maybe you didn't have something crazy that happened in the beginning, I get it. And maybe chiropractic was a profession before it became a mission. But after working with so many chiropractors, I developed systems to help them tell the story effectively. Right? So psychology, organization, storytelling, and the last piece from presentation perspective is charisma, is being able to deliver a message with power, with confidence, with empathy, eye contact, body language. Right? So in terms of speaking, these are the four areas. And then the last area that I help chiros too is say, hey, how do I bring people to my own events? How do I get booked to speak? Do I need a speaker page? So obviously we help our clients with that as well.
So let me ask you. I mean, you obviously, when you showed up, when you met Dr. Gunderson and Dr. Zano, you
Dr. Zeb,
obviously
just make
were.
a quick correction. Gary Gunderson is not the, he's big into chiropractic, but he's Dr. Chris Zane is a chiro. Gunderson is not chiro. Just a quick
Oh,
correction.
I see. Okay.
Quick
Okay.
correction. Yeah.
Um, but what type of background, what type of training did you have? What type of
Perfect.
experience?
Yeah, very good. So my experience, I have my training background is I graduated in bachelor's in finance in Brazil. I got an MBA in marketing, and I was the guy that for many years, Dr. Lloyd, I always watch my clock. Is it 5 o'clock yet? Is it 5 o'clock yet? Because I hate my jobs. I hate
Uh,
my banking job. Then I got a job in sales. I'm like, I hate this. I hate this. And I remember one day, I remember clearly telling my mom, one day I want to be like a soccer player or singer. And my mom was teasing me. What do you mean? You can't play soccer. You can't sing. What do you mean? He goes, no, no, mom. I want to be like, I feel like they are made for that. I was talking about purpose without knowing I was talking about purpose, right?
yes.
So I went through a lot of soul searching. Eventually, I got a job with the Anthony Robbins companies, Tony Robbins. the
Yes.
motivation speaker. And I had two jobs. My first job, just like a chiropractor does lunch and learn, I was doing 400 talks a year, which is a lot. That's all I did. I wasn't coaching. 400. Three a
Right.
day, Saturday. It's called FSR, Field Sales Rep. So basically, you go to a company, you schedule a lunch, a talk, like a talk in the morning and the evening, car dealers, mortgage companies, real estate offices. Then you do a 45-minute workshop and you close and you sell tickets. So I learned on the job. So after thousands of talks, people start reaching out to me and say, hey, can you help me? So in 2009, I opened up a company called Influencology with my business partner. So I have been working with 50 industries. I never had a plan to go after chiropractors. I didn't know chiropractic was. It's just like when I started working with chiropractors, it became so big that I opened a second company, Chiro Speaking Company. So now I have two companies. I will never leave chiropractic because chiropractic changed my life, and I feel deep down I owe to chiropractic and chiropractors.
So chiropractors are listening to this podcast. And one guy I know for a fact is saying to himself, I'm not a public speaker. I mean,
Hmm.
I would love to have that gift. I would love to have that talent, but
Yeah.
I'm not gifted. I'm not talented. Maybe this isn't for me.
Can
What
I
would you
talk to that
say to that
person?
guy?
I'm talking to you. Now
Okay.
I'm talking to the chiropractor who thinks that you don't have the public speaking genes. I don't have it. English is my third language. In Brazil, I studied Portuguese. My second language was Spanish because if you look at the Brazil map, in South America, all the countries around are Spanish speaking countries. And I thought I'll never need English in my life. Right? So I know I have an accent. I wasn't good with language, Portuguese. You don't need to be good at language. You need to have purpose. You need to have purpose. Now, once you have purpose, then you can develop the skills, just like you develop your adjusting skills, you develop your marketing skills, or any other skills. Public speaking, you learn how to open a talk, how to frame information, how to tell a story. You just learn. And the cool thing about, I was just having a call today with someone else before a podcast, Dr. Lloyd, and I was telling this person that the cool thing about speaking, number one, you can go as far as you want to.
Mhm.
When you started, right? We didn't have many venues. Now we have Zoom, we have lives, we have these eight, seven, eight, nine platforms that you can post, you can speak, right? Speaking in front of a camera and multiply your voice is amazing. The opportunity is amazing. So yeah, it's something that if you train your confidence, storytelling, a little charisma, a little messaging, everybody can become better.
So somebody is asking themselves, they say, okay, so I could be trained and this would work for me. One of the things that you had in your bio that I
Yeah.
really liked was learning how to speak on video. How do you train somebody to
Yes.
be able to be natural and
Okay.
comfortable and enjoy the video process?
Perfect. So when I worked for Tony Robbins for 6 years, this is from 2002 to 2008. YouTube, in the end of 2008, 2009, something happened. Three things happened. Number one, YouTube became available. So now people could upload a video and share. Second thing that happens was the smartphone revolution. People start
Yeah,
buying 2008, 2009. And the third thing, you had good internet, not AOL, that actually had you could upload the video. So I remember 2009, I was like, I'm gonna do video marketing. And I remember putting my camera, my flip camera, the old camera, and I
yeah.
felt so awkward.
Mhm.
And here I am, a guy who has done back in 2008 thousands of talks. I trained Tony Robbins speakers for the Anthony Robbins companies, right? I trained them. I was the trainer. And you put me in front of a camera and I felt awkward. So how do I go from now wanting to be in camera to actually enjoying? I love video marketing now. Well, one of the things is that you want to put the reps, repetition and practice always help. The second thing is that I realized when you're recording by yourself, for example, it's awkward to be animated, to speak louder or softer or faster
or you slow down by yourself in your room, right? So it
Right.
feels awkward.
Okay.
But then you're just like, okay, it's not me. It's not me, the speaker. It's just, that's what it is. And then you keep doing, eventually break through, right? And I realized that the practice, the awareness, being able to look in a camera, like now I'm looking in your Zoom, now I'm looking at camera, being able to establish eye contact, look in a camera. So there's the strategies. I always tell chiropractors, the number one reason, Dr. Lloyd, that stops chiropractors and other professions from advocating what they do is fear of being judged. Number one thing by far.
Yeah.
If I put myself out there, if I record that video, if I do that talk, if I call that company and I go there and speak it and it's not good, I'm going to be judged. Number one thing. Or they say, if I put myself on camera, I have a big nose. So I'm telling
Uh-huh.
you, I hear this all day long. And I say, look, let's address that. Number one, if you are the kind of person that say, I don't want to record myself because I have a big nose, guess what? When you go to Walmart, that is exactly how your nose look like, right? I mean, I know it's funny, it's duh, right? Because ultimately, we are making the presentation about us. And the truth is, if as a chiropractor, it's not about you, it's about, as far as I know, no chiropractor is greater than chiropractic. True?
Right.
Right? So if chiropractic is bigger than any chiropractor, then don't make about you, make about chiropractic. And the second thing I tell is this, the second thing, which is really important. If you speak, you're going to be judged. If you don't speak, you're going to be judged.
Right.
Look, if you're the doctor now, you're listening to us, and you say, yeah, I would love to do it, but I don't want to be judged. I promise you, in your town, 10 miles from your office, there's people that are looking for your help. They're willing to pay for your help, but they don't know you exist.
Right.
For them, you are unknown. It's not bad judgment, right? If I say, hey, do you know about Dr. XYZ, Dr. So-and-so? I never heard about him or her, because if she or he was really good, then I would have heard about it. So I'm telling you, if you're not communicating your community, they already have a judgment about you anyway. Anyway, so why not have the opportunity to go and tell a story and share your patient stories and share your uniqueness and how you can help people specifically? All right?
So let me ask you this. Give me a list of different ways in a regular chiropractic practice how training in speaking and training in stories improves the whole practice and
Uh-huh.
starts to prepare somebody for doing videos or doing outside
Uh-huh.
lectures.
If I were a chiropractor, the first thing that I'll do, and by the way, I loved that you share your story, that you're doing talks way before it was even legal to advertise. I love that. That's
Right.
like all the leaders in chiropractic, like yourself, successful leaders. So many times I heard, I used to do talks before and now people don't do talks. So the first thing I'll do, I would commit to do talks. Why? Because you're going to get better, your communication is going to get better, you're going to increase your certainty, all these benefits. By the way, you're going to create a culture. And a lot of people, they tell me, Lloyd, I want to go do an outside talk. I say, good, great. What's your plan? And say, well, I want to cold call a company. Da, da, da. I'm like, dude, this is the worst way to do it. I said, the best way to do it, the most effective way, is for you to do a class, and the people who just experience you, they just experience you. Those are the people most likely to introduce you to a company, association, church,
Yes.
mastermind, government agency. I'm telling you, just like you not refer a sushi restaurant to someone if you've never been to the restaurant before. You go in, you like the restaurant, then you say, you know what, go there. The same idea, right? They're gonna, once they experience your talk, experience your heart, experience your desire to serve, they'll be like, you know what, you might be a good speaker for our lunch next week, whatever, right? So number one,
builds confidence. It helps you market. Number two, it creates a culture in your office. Now, let's say you want to do more talks, advanced topics, let's say chiropractic in sports. You want to do a class about chiropractic in pregnancy. Now, your patients already have a understanding that in your office they come and learn. Here's another benefits too. Nowadays, by the way, I love social media. I post on 7 social medias every day, me and my team. I love it. I believe in social media, big believer. Now, but I know social media, a lot of people go like this, right? 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 3 seconds. When is the last time that you had a chance to put 10, 15 people in a room and connect with them for half an hour and 45 minutes, right? And that's, you go to this level of understanding, of connection, that even if you do social media crazy, you can get it in a live talk, right? The other thing,
Right.
if you train, one of the things that I tell my clients to have is create a storytelling database, which is, there's a whole topic that I teach, because a lot of times, and I see this over and over again, you have all these miracle stories that happen. The doctor knows about it. But just like jokes, that sometimes you hear a joke and forget about it, if you don't capture, you're going to forget. Number two, it's important for us, for our team, our CAs, to be able to equip them with those stories so when they go live their lives, and now your CA is in a party, and someone's like, oh, I have headaches. And you'd be like, oh, okay, let me tell a story about a patient that had, you equip your people to promote your services, right? So there's another benefit to be PVA, right? Increase retention, because it's really hard to, I think in communication research, they talk about the 3 levels. It's called attitude shaping. When you shape someone's attitude towards something, they have no clue what it is. Now they understand. You have attitude changing, when you change someone's attitude and you convert someone. And then you have attitude reinforcing, how to reinforce someone's attitude. Now, if you're not willing to educate and re-educate, right? That's why most practices, they sign up, Facebook ads, sign up, and then PVA is not good, because they are very good at attitude shaping, attitude changing, but they're not very good at attitude reinforcing, right? So one way to do it is to constantly educate. I was just talking to a chiropractor this morning. We were building his new lecture, your patient orientation lecture. And then he said, but I want to share a lot of things. I say, good. But we don't share in a lecture. You make super powerful, make about chiropractic. You maybe teach some health principles. But that's why nowadays there's amazing, easy technology, right? That you can build a health course. And you can give, if you want to teach additional information, you can be dripping videos and courses to your patients for a long time to educate them. So there's so many opportunities. And all the courses, the video marketing, the talks, the dinners, the lunch and learns, comes down to the doctor ability to be able to tell the chiropractic story being effective.
So let me tell you a story. My first time, very, very first time, I did a new patient orientation class,
Yeah.
and I was inspired, and I did such a terrible job. As I was driving home, I thought to myself, you know what? People really don't die of embarrassment, because if they did, I would be dead. And I didn't speak. I was so embarrassed that I didn't speak again for, I think it was a year or a year and a half. If
Mhm.
I had had somebody who was a mentor, somebody who was a coach, somebody who had training, I would have been able to get. Now, by God's grace, I was able to get past that, and I just kept coming back. But I believe, I coach people on how to do associates
Mhm.
correctly, because people have bad experience with associates that's not necessary. So if somebody wanted to get some help, if somebody thinks I've got the message and I would like to make sure that I do a good job, I don't want to embarrass myself,
Mhm.
how would they get in touch with you, and what would they find?
Well, they can get in touch with me either through Influenceology or through chiropractic.com. My email is roberto@influenceology.com. Or if you go to any platform, social media, you type up Roberto Monaco, I'm there. I'm on 7 platforms. So I'm in every platform available pretty much.
And so they can learn about not only what you do, but get a chance to experience your process. So, can you give me an example of a chiropractor that you've worked with who came and wasn't much of a speaker?
Oh, yeah, I have so many. I have examples from my class. I have my examples from my coaching, from my class. I had this Dr. Chelsea that had this big beer fear of speaking. She was a recent graduate. She lived in Greensville area. And then I remember I do this class as a 2.5 day class. And I remember she stood up like I'm still afraid of speak. So I brought her in front of the class. I work with her. I have a bunch of techniques, obviously, I develop. And then a month later, she wrote me a testimonial that she went to one of the local government departments and did a talk and closed 13 people to her office. Right? So
Great.
just like that, I had another doctor in Tennessee, Dr. Myers, practicing for 15 years, 1-5, never done outside talk, never done one outside talk. Came to my class, got inspired, signed up for coaching, and I said the first thing to get outside talks, you're gonna put a speaker page. Because when you start reaching out to businesses, they want to know who is this person trying to come here. So I put a speaker page, and I remember in my system I call speaking viral photos. That means that I use our patient base to get talks. And I remember he's calling me, hey man, I got my first talk. He was super excited. And there was like 7 people. He didn't close everybody, he closed like 3 people. But he was so happy. I was so happy
Yes.
because the 3 people was fine, but the fact that the guy now is liberated, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Uh,
I know exactly what you mean.
liberated. I'm in coaching relationship now with 4 offices in Puerto Rico, and they do group reports. Right? Conversion before 50%, a little bit below, maybe 45. So I spent 3 months. I redesigned the talk. I had all the doctors do the talk, sent to me. I review every talk. Everybody watches. I coach them. Now we're over 70% conversion. Right? So things like that I do, and I love doing it. I love doing it. I have one
So
of my yeah. I have story after story. Though, by the
I
way,
know
yeah.
and I love your stories. One of the things I want to do, I want to make sure that people know, I believe in coaches. I have I've set people free, and what you said about the freedom that that person has, they know that they can do it. So we've got the chiropractic message. You help people form the message
Mhm,
and help them present it in such a way and help them with skills and techniques so that they
mhm,
can give talks and
mhm.
they're empowered. So we are almost out of time. Would you tell everybody one more time, how do they get in touch with you
Yeah.
and what would that be?
The best way to get in touch with me, my email is roberto at influenceology.com. Roberto at influenceology, or they can go in any platform of Facebook, Instagram, and they can search Roberto Monaco and send me a message there. I am on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, X, and YouTube.
By the way, I want to tell any podcast listener who's still with us right now that the reason that I reached out to Roberto is that I've heard of him for years, number one. But as I've been going through different podcasts and interviewing people, people ask me, have you ever talked to Roberto Monaco? And I said, well, no, I haven't. Well, about the third time that happened, I thought, I'm going to reach out to Roberto Monaco, and I'm certainly glad that I did. Roberto, thank you for being my guest. Thank you for your service to chiropractic profession. I'm thrilled to have you as a guest, and we'll talk to you later, I hope. Okay?
Thanks so much, Dr. Lloyd. Appreciate that. Thanks, buddy.